Alright, so making three-dimensional PVC-like bends. That's going to be done using two sketches, and I'm just going to walk you through step by step on how to get this final product. So, with a new part here, I'm going to ditch that old one, make a new part, and then make a new sketch, and I'm just going to start with a basic PVC frame. So it's just going to be two circles. We'll say the outside diameter is 5 inches with a wall thickness of maybe 1/8 of an inch. Alright, and then of course Solidworks is going to extrude just around, not on the inside, not on the outside, but between the two solid lines that I've made. I'm going to do features. I'm going to start it off straight, so I'm just going to extrude up. So another 5 inches. Happy little check mark. Alright, cool. So now I want to add a bend. I'm going to take this form and bend it around just 90 degrees straight up. So what I'm going to do, first things first, I'm going to make another sketch of what I want to extrude, which is going to be the same inside circle, outside circle as I did before. So I'm going to make one on the inside and one on the outside. And right now they're undefined, but I'll quickly add a co-radial constraint. That way, if the diameter of my pipe changes later on, I can it'll automatically update if I just click that original sketch. Alright, I'm going to leave this sketch so I can make a second one. The method that I'm going to show you is under Features and Revolved Boss Base. And what this is going to do is it's going to take this sketch that I made here, and it's going to take it and revolve it around an axis of revolution. And it's going to extrude along the way. And so to make that axis, a really simple way is just to go and make a new sketch. I'll even do it on this same top plane here, with just a construction line, or for our purposes this could even be a regular solid line. For simplicity's sake, I'll make it infinite length, plus I like things infinitely long. I just made it vertical, so it would be geometrically square. And I'll say from the line to the origin is going to be about 5 inches. Right, so leaving that sketch now, I have two. I've got sketch 2, which is going to be revolved, and sketch 3, which is going to be revolved around. So I'm going to go under Features, Revolved Boss Base, and click on the sketch that is going to be revolved. So now I just clicked on this one here. And now it's going to ask me for an axis of revolution, which is this sketch here. And it automatically defaults to 360 degrees of extrusion. And so I'm just going to limit that to my 90 degrees. And so as you can see now, we've taken this sketch that we drew right here, and we're revolving it around this axis. And it doesn't have to just be strictly 90, it can be any number that you can set your heart on. Here. I'm going to set it back to 90 here, just so long as it's between 1 and something crazy large. You can go ahead and just hide this sketch here if you get tired of looking at it, just hitting hide, but it's still going to require that it exists, just because if this disappears, then it has no axis, and this will become very, very sad. That is one method that you can do. So now that you're getting more and more advanced in making parts and assemblies, I am going to issue a challenge. And that is, instead of making a whole assembly out of just one part, like you've been doing with those pod area for the pit, go ahead and make individual parts for those large assemblies. So if you were going to do this this PVC contraption here, it wouldn't just be one part, but it would be several. So you would start off with your 90 degree. So you've got your simple 90, and I'm just going to save this to my desktop as quote-unquote 90. And well, looks like I had more than one part open. many parts open. Great, never mind. I saved this one as 92. I guess we should reflect that. Great, 92 degrees. So, take one part, instead of having an assembly, or instead of having one part do this and that, when you actually go to Lowe's, you're just going to find these in 90 degree increments. You're not going to find something that's completely custom. So go ahead and make a new assembly here, importing your multiple of these single units and mating them together, just as, you know, so you can isolate each individual part and say, yes, we need 3 90 degree bends, or 90 degree PVC parts, and it helps simplify going and showing people how to make things. And so all you really need to do is just do this. It takes a little bit more time rather than just making one part that looks like this. But in the end, what you'll find is that it helps tremendously in the machine shop, making awkward forms like this. It simplifies it, saying, oh, I just need one piece here, another piece there. It's just 3 pieces, not necessarily just one fluid form in a part where only the CADer really knows what's going on. If you can make your CAD files as understandable as possible for someone else to read, that's optimal. For instance, I could have, in this bumper loading assembly here, I could have made this, that, and this guy here. These 3 parts, just one simple part. But instead what I did is I made each one its own part, as I would have built it in the machine shop. So I could take this part and just make it individually, pairing it with the other parts. And it helps simplify life for the machinist, and ultimately make your design a lot simpler. And you can see through a lot of mistakes that are often overlooked in the perfect world of CAD. And you can simplify your assembly and look at how things are actually going to be made. A second way to go about more complex forms, while retaining still fully hollow or solid, really, any shape, is going with a swept boss base. And what this is going to have you do is take a single sketch here, a starter sketch of what the PVC shape is actually going to look like. So I just did a 5-inch outer diameter with an 1/8 inch wall. 5-inch outer diameter, 1/8 inch wall, and a second sketch which looks like a path for that to follow. And so what it's going to do is it's going to take this PVC outline, it's going to trace it and extrude along the way across this long path. And so actually going and making those, I'm going to skip making those sketches for now. The feature that you're going to be looking for once you have both of these sketches set up is swept boss base. That's above these top 3 small buttons. It's going to ask for 2 things: what you're going to be tracing, or what form you're going to be extruding, which is this guy here, and then what you're going to be extruding about, which is this guy. And so it's going to take that form and follow these insane contours. You hit OK, and boom, instant 3D. And you can even set up, make this go into the more three-dimensional realm if you feel so adventurous. But good luck making this. Especially in the machine shop. One thing to note with this method, though, is that when you go and make this path for it to follow, the form to follow, is that all of these contours should be tangent to each other. If they're not, it's going to have a really fun time cutting corners, and it's going to start complaining and yelling at you with red text, and that's really not going to be all that fun to diagnose or for Cat to think about. But it's all possible.